Well, the first thing we found was that most people like to scoop the ice cream with their dominant hand and hold the can with their other hand. And they answered our flash poll just like we asked them. But what we got out of this was not only this is how I scoop it, but we actually got to see people do it and hear people explain what their problems were. So I'm going to show you a video here of someone scooping some ice cream, and notice, if I just told you, oh, they say the lid is difficult to open, you don't really know what that means. Well, here you're going to see it. And when he says, I scoop it with my right hand, well, he doesn't tell you what he's scooping it with. And so having a video tells us a little bit more. So here is someone scooping some ice cream. Stop. Did I stop it? Stop it.
This is the most difficult part. Open it. Get some leverage. Out.
So I'm sorry I didn't bring samples for you, but there's someone scooping some ice cream. And so, what we were able to tell Blue Bunny was not only all these sort of frustrations that people have, why it might be hard to scoop the ice cream, what might be difficult about the lid, but we were also able to come up with some solutions because we can see what those issues are and what the problems are. And when they go back to their packaging engineers, they have these videos, and my guess is a packaging engineer could look at that and say, oh, I have an idea, I know what to do now, rather than if I just said, that lid's really hard to get off. So, when you look at all this, this is everything that we learned from just asking a simple research question, whether it be the social networking or the vehicle or the Blue Bunny ice cream. But because we're researchers at heart, we kind of want to say, so what did we learn about the mobile experience? And one of the things that we were most nervous about when we did this was, would the responses be as rich and robust as we get in a traditional community? Because people will write paragraphs. And we were a little worried we might see some texting and shortened language. We didn't see any of that. People wrote long responses. And it was almost as if you wouldn't have known the difference between whether they were doing it on their phone or on their computer, just in terms of the richness of the language and the length of response. No different than a traditional community. There are times when someone will just say, yeah, I liked it. And then as moderators, we need to go back in and say, okay, well now tell me what it is you liked about it. And similar to a traditional community, with a little bit of coaching, people are willing to do that. Similarly, one of the nice things about mobile is we can ask people to do things maybe that we wouldn't necessarily ask in a traditional sense. So go to the store, go to the snack food aisle, look at it, take some pictures, go to another store. So an activity that's going to require some serious investment in terms of the member. And in those cases, we know we're going to have to give them additional incentive. And that's just something we know. It's something to keep in mind, though, when you're doing mobile research. The other thing we learned was this whole idea of multimedia. So I showed you that first example of the social networking. And all we asked them to do in that case was to do the flash poll and answer the questions. Well, we had people spontaneously uploading video, which was great because here we'll see a woman telling us what she thought about the question. And what's neat about this is she chose to tell us. She never typed it. She just told us. So this made it easy for her, and we're getting, real response here.
I like Facebook. I've tried other social networking and didn't like it. Facebook has a lot more security features that I really, I use those a lot. Most of my friends are also on Facebook, so that makes a big difference. enjoy keeping track and keeping up to date with friends and family. I also like to follow companies because a lot of times when you follow them or friend them, they offer you discounts and coupons, and I think that's really important.
So it's nice that we get those videos on our own. There are some cases when we ask people to share a video and they don't. So just like in a traditional community, we have to go out and prompt them. One of the things that we did learn, which was somewhat interesting to us, was that people don't always want to show their face. And so if seeing that expression, if seeing the person is really important to you, what you're going to want to do is make sure to say and film yourself. Because they don't always naturally do that. This is just another video running of someone scooping some ice cream. The final piece is this whole idea of when we ask people to upload multimedia, and they do, we learn those unexpected things. We maybe get beyond even the question that we asked. So I'm going to show you one that's from the GM example. And notice that she's telling us what she's carrying in her car. We're seeing just how big or what it is, but then in addition, she mentions something that's pretty interesting about how one of the features that really helps her in terms of carrying things in her vehicle. And I'm sorry, I'm so bad at this mouse. I can't find my thing.
Okay, I drive a minivan. The way I access the car, the boys get in the back. We have 3 boys. 2 sit in the middle, the 1 sits in the very back. And we have automatic doors, which is a lifesaver. In the back, the very back, we have chairs. Usually in the summer, this is filled with baseball equipment. Right now, just chairs.
So again, the point here just being the confidence that we can instill in our clients when we can show them, yeah, we asked the question, yeah, they answered it, and here's what they said. It's just that much more richness behind the data. So that's the case studies. Now Greg's going to come back and talk a little bit more about what the member experience in all of this was.
So again, as Catherine mentioned, being researchers, we wanted to ask our customers what they thought, and so members are kind of customers in a certain way. So we asked them a little bit about, what was your experience of using this? So we were talking to people who were in Consumer Village, who maybe had been in there for quite a while, and asked them to compare what it was like to participate via iCommunity's mobile versus their traditional method. And we really learned some really interesting things, and we couldn't really put all the quotes up here. We, of course, got some great feedback that can help us, refine the app, and that's part of what we wanted to learn. But one of the things that we saw here is, here Chris, he's talking about how it lets me participate wherever I'm at, and he's representative of a number of people. We saw that from a lot of moms as well. They were saying, hey, if I'm with my kids, if I want to participate in the community, I typically have to leave where they're at and sit at the computer, or I have to wait until they're available. With the app, iCommunity's mobile, I could actually do it while I was with them. So again, that sort of directionally sort of supports some of the things we were talking about. As Catherine mentioned, we're going to do a lot more research on research as we have time, but there's some really interesting pieces there. And I think Lynn here, she was talking about the fact that it opens up a lot of different opportunities for her to participate, and we see that in a lot of our members. They often say, hey, I wish I could participate more, and this gives them a way to do that. Finally, Scott, who actually downloaded the app, found it in the App Store, and became one of our star members. He did a great job with the work. He kind of shot a video of himself and what his perspective was, just coming in from basically outside.
Hi, this is Scott. I've enjoyed Airwaves. I think it's a whole lot easier to respond to surveys and requests for information. It's helping me to learn how to use my phone a little bit better too, and it's also telling me I really want an iPhone 4 because it's a whole lot easier to take videos. But anyway, I like it. I think it's a great way to do it, and I love the app. Thanks. So you can't use your phone.
So, again, this is like the very unfiltered sort of response, and I actually kind of like that at the end. We decided not to edit that out just because it's kind of like what you see. And that's very real, and that's what we want, and so we're very excited about what we've seen so far with regard to that. And what I want to do now is just kind of move into what does this mean for the future? We really do feel like this is just the beginning. And there's 3 primary reasons why that's the case. First is, smartphones will soon be ubiquitous. Now, some of the statistics here point to the fact that next year is really this point where smartphones become the dominant type of phone being sold in the United States. Forrester and Frost & Sullivan say by 2015, smartphone ownership will surpass 80%. And when I went back and did some work with the census data, we're really, if you want to kind of put this in context with the online revolution, we're at about 1998. And we know what happened after 1998. It was this type of exponential growth. And we really see all the projections and all the data we see in the forecast suggest the same sort of thing. I think the other piece of it is that not only will they be ubiquitous, but they also are opening up willingness for types of consumers to participate in research who might not have in the past. In particular, Gen Y, this is how Gen Y lives. I mean, they're used to this. And I look at my 18-month-old son, Jack, who even at 18 months can unlock an iPhone and find this particular app that he likes to play and starts playing the little Bloom app, which is nice little music. This is really the future. And I think from a researcher's perspective, that's what we have to be thinking about. What is the future? And this is really where the future is heading. The other piece is that apps will become considerably more powerful. We know that there are a lot of powerful capabilities of smartphones, which we intend to work on and integrate into our app as things go forward. But also, smartphones themselves are becoming more and more powerful. And again, as they become more powerful, it becomes more ways for us to be able to leverage them from a research perspective. And I think the net of these two is that the ways that mobile can be leveraged in the future is unlimited. We've really shown you today just a few glimpses of some things that we've been trying, but as we think about what these things could mean, we think it's very exciting, and we are certainly looking forward to it. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any quick questions, we have just a couple minutes, but thank you very much for coming.